On a farm, there's nothing more scary than grain entrapment. Paramedics and the fire department, everybody that responds to it has to be trained on how to deal with these situations. That's where Mark Baker comes into play. How you doing, Mark?
Doing good. Doing real good. How about yourself?
Good. Now, you're up there on the Wisconsin-Illinois border?
That is correct. State line, matter of fact.
All right, tell me about the company that you have developed.
Well, it's a training company. We teach agricultural rescue for fire EMS, and then we branched off and we went into doing commercial elevators, and then interest groups such as farm bureaus and FFAs. So that's kind of the work we do.
With a lot of these volunteer firemen and a lot of the people in emergency services not having any experiences with ag equipment, are you finding that this is a whole new ball game for them, that they just don't have any clue on how to deal with this stuff?
Yeah, and you know the thing, you hit it. They're clueless because we're getting third two generations removed from the fire service. Volunteers used to be farmers, and now we're finding people that don't even understand what a PTO is. They think it's a parent-teacher organization. Grain bins. I mean, what is a grain bin and how does it work and why do we even need them? I mean, that's just it's interesting.
So why'd you get into this?
Wow, it's a good story. Actually, my wife, her first husband was killed in a farm accident, and she just told me countless times how the fire department just didn't understand, and that was 38 years ago. Well, actually longer than that because we dated at least. I took her out to eat, at least once before we got married. But yeah, I heard that story and it resonated, and I said we have to do better.
So, and that's the beginning of Stateline Farm Rescue?
That is exactly the birth of it, yeah. And we started out, and I thought it would just be kind of a fun run for a couple years, and holy cow, I mean, here we are 30 plus years and we're still doing it.
Explain to me what that thing is behind you.
Well, the thing that's right behind me is actually our grain bin entrapment simulator. So we actually will do live entrapment. We'll bury you into grain, not necessarily corn. It could be beans or oats. I would definitely don't want to do oats. It's too itchy. But anyway, and we'll bury you clear up to your chest, if you will, about up to here. And you'll experience 75 pounds to square foot easily. There's 200 bushels plus in there, and you're not getting out. No way.
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. They're like, well, if you're buried in there, just pull them out. You can't.
No, physically you cannot. I mean, if you were in there and let's say you weighed 180 pounds and you went to pull somebody out that was buried up to their shoulders, you would literally have to apply about 1,500 pounds of pull, pressure. Your limbs, your arms, won't take that. You'll pull them apart. It just doesn't work like that, and that's the myth right there.
Yeah, I don't even remember 180 pounds.
Yeah, I've kind of exceeded that a long time ago.
Okay, we're going to show a video of a rescue of the simulation. So
okay.
you put in like an enclosement around them. Explain what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So the rescue, what we do is we actually have a rescue tube that we apply around it called the Great Wall of Rescue. It's been probably back in '09, we actually, me and another guy developed that product, and it's been very successful. And so as we place that around and then we start bailing corn out, I make it sound like that's simple, but it's really not. I mean, there's so much going into it, getting into that bin, getting to that person, and hoping you can find them. That's the key.
So that behind you, that is mobile?
Yeah, yep. So we travel wherever you want to do a class. It doesn't matter where it's at. We've traveled all over the Midwest extensively.
So you mentioned the organizations that were kind of involved with what you were doing, like the farm bureaus, the FFAs. I mean, tell me how they're involved.
Well, I mean, we come to the FFAs or the farm bureaus, and I mean, these are farm families, that come to an event. Maybe sponsored by a grain elevator or a co-op for whatever reason. They're going to be the victims, and they're going to be the rescuers at the same time. Just because that rescue tube, is in the fireman's hands doesn't mean that farm families don't have an opportunity to own one themselves. So these rescues, if they're organized and done properly, anybody can do one.
So have you heard back from people that you've trained, people that's using your products that had success, that actually saved a life?
That's the coolest thing of this whole thing. I mean, saving a life is, you could win a major game, but save a life, yeah. And we get testimonials of, if it wasn't for your class, it wouldn't have went this well. And that's the cool part. I mean, there's no money that can pay you for that. That to me is the Super Bowl ring right there.
Yeah, you could take your $12 plastic trophy and stick it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't need a damn trophy.
All right, Mark, if people want to find out more about you, where do they go?
Well, they can find us on Facebook if they want Stateline Farm Rescue, and you can find us on Stateline Farm Rescue at yahoo.com.
All right, Mark Baker, thank you so much for what you do. Thanks for talking to us.
Hey, well, thanks again. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks for spending some time with us here on SharkFarmer TV. For more stories about people in agriculture, catch my shows on Rural Radio Channel 147 Sirius XM. There's more in-depth discussions on my podcast, and of course, you can check out previous episodes of this show on my YouTube channel. Find out more at sharkfarmer.com.